Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Spring Porter with Spring Solutions LLC. In this video, I'm going to be giving you my review for the Surplus Funds Mastery Group. I was a part of this group. I am no longer a part of it, and a lot of my subscribers are still in this group, and maybe some new subscribers that have joined me that are maybe thinking about joining a group, and they're thinking about surplus funds, and there aren't a lot of reviews on it, so I'm going to give you mine. If you're interested, please stay tuned. This is a disclaimer. I am not out to bash Spencer Van or David Church. They are the owners of this particular group, and this is my experience with this particular group. This is not to bash them at all. Okay, I'm just giving you my experience. So here are the good things. Always the good things first, right? So I started my business late December, early January. So at that point, I had already knew bankruptcy. I figured out how to fill in the forms and what I needed, and I understood how to find the leads. I was looking for more of the business aspect of it, how to kind of keep all things organized and just sort of the everyday practicality of it. That's what I was looking for. So I had seen so many of their advertisements, and there were a lot of them, and it lured me in. And so I thought it was a lot of money. But I went ahead and I bit the bullet and I said, all right, let me just do it because with, business, you have to take risks. So I did. I joined the group. There was a community of people with a common interest, which I liked. I liked that Facebook group. You could post things, you can get information. I liked sharing what I knew. That was fine. I like the coaching calls. You got a chance to hear and speak to people nationwide, and you hear, the different situations that come up with what they're doing and obstacles and things that they're dealing with in their particular state. I liked being on the coaching calls with Rick. I thought he had a really, a really wealth of knowledge and a good handle on what he was doing with tax overages in Florida. So I liked learning about that. So it sparked me to further my YouTube channel and sort of my business or sort of the teaching aspect side of it because I became a coach sort of out of necessity. I was asked to become one rather quickly into the program because at that time I was the only one that was really talking about bankruptcy unclaimed funds. So here are the bad things, and it happened pretty quickly. I joined again around January, and around March, early April, I was really gone from the group. So the thing that I set out to find in the program, I did not find. I did not like the first three modules of the particular program. I felt like were more theoretical based. And it was sort of, it's necessary to have these theoretical things. You have to get your mind right. You have to have motivation. It is important, but I had already done that step on my own. And so I was sort of looking for the everyday practicality things. I wanted to get my hand on a different contract and sort of compare it with what I had already created and see, what worked, what didn't work. So I was sort of a step ahead on that particular side of it. And in the group, no one was doing bankruptcy unclaimed funds. So if I had a question about something, I don't know everything. So I have a question about something. No one was really there to answer my questions about, the sort of the business side of it. So what you see on my channel is me going through the process on my own. It's sort of like uncharted territory, really. There's not a lot of people that are doing this particular thing, and I have learned by trial and error. And that's how I'm able to give you the information, the knowledge that I have, because I have tested it on my own and I see what works, what doesn't work. So at any rate, I didn't find what I was looking for. So basically, I was approached to create a bankruptcy course for surplus funds, but basically, I wouldn't be compensated what I was worth for doing so. And so I got an email, I got a call from David, and then a follow-up email from Spencer. And basically, they wanted me to create, well, they had said it was like a mini module, like maybe 3 or 4 modules, just 3 or 4 videos, as they stated. Now, in my mind, you've been with me for 4 or 5 months, however long I've had my channel now. You see that bankruptcy can't be taught in 3 or 4 videos. I mean, there's just so many different nuances that come up. And I wanted to make sure it was thorough. I thought it would be really unethical of me and just really unfair to give you partial information on something that you have already paid for, and then you can't even use it because it's incomplete. And then you're having to ask me basically for the deficiencies because I didn't include everything. I didn't want to do that. I made sure that I told them that I would think about it And what I did was I wrote down basically a whole outline. And ironically, the outline that I wrote out is basically, it laid the foundation on my course now. But basically, I came to them and I said, this is going to be my outline. It's going to be more than 3 videos. And this is what I would consider to be a fair offer if you wanted me to do this particular course for you. And this offer that I gave them was a small fraction of what they probably have paid for in advertisements for the program alone. And they did not counter my offer. They basically just said, no, no thanks. That's not what we're able to pay you. But they wanted me to continue doing their coaching. So when I heard that, I heard no, but you can still be a coach. That led me to believe that you don't value what I bring to the table, but you want to still get information from me from being a coach. So that did not sit well with me. So that was where the breakdown of this particular group for me happened at that moment. And then, in addition to that, some students would come to me either via email or they would call me and just say, overall, a little bit of frustration that they had about the group. They felt like they didn't really get what they needed from the group either. They couldn't really get responses from some of the coaches, when they would email or follow up. Everything that they had questions on, sometimes, they couldn't even post it on Facebook because those posts were monitored before, anyone would post them. So they just felt like they couldn't really get a lot of their questions answered. And that didn't really sit well with me. But I understood how they felt, so that really made me feel bad about it. And also, I was still expected to pay into the program, although felt like I was being used and undervalued as a coach. And then you didn't want to pay me for my course, but you still want me to pay for something, basically that I didn't find in this particular course at all. So at that point, I said, you know what? There's too many bad things and factors here that are adding up. So I think I'm just going to part ways with this. Other people are feeling like their voices aren't being heard. I feel like I am adding value to the group, but I'm being underappreciated. And I didn't find what I was looking for, to begin with. So I'm just going to take a step back and I'm going to withdraw myself from this particular program. And then another bad thing that I thought, a lot of the students and my peers were left with changes of this particular group. I was a coach one week, the next week I wasn't, and there was no explanation given. And I felt like it was not my place to say why I had left because I no longer have that platform. So I'm speaking about it on my particular platform now, right? So here are the ugly things. So we talked about the good, the bad, and here are a few of the ugly things. And there's just a few. But I've been told by a few students of surplus funds that there is a small bankruptcy course that's available now with surplus funds mastery, but it mimics the information that I was teaching on my YouTube channel. So that is really disheartening to me. I felt like that's kind of a stab in the back. And there are similar nuances to finding leads and that sort of thing. But whatever information is uploaded with the surplus funds mastery pertaining to bankruptcy, it may have kind of come from me, but I didn't authorize that, and it probably is not going to be complete. Again, you can't really teach this process in just 3 or 4 videos. It has to be a complete process. And I feel like if it is going to be a full-on program, maybe an attorney should be the one to do it. If it doesn't come from me, it should be maybe an actual attorney, so that can give you the full scope of it, and that can also answer your questions as the coaching calls and sort of other things continue to happen within this group. So on occasion, I have people from this particular group reach out to me. They're wanting to do business together, or they're wanting to give me advice on something, but I don't know how to take their information, because I don't know if they are legitimately wanting to work with me, or if they're just out to get information to bring it back to the surplus funds mastery. And so that is hard for me to trust certain people. And I'm not saying that, I have the biggest YouTube channel and I have, all of this, subscribers. I don't. It's just, and it happens on occasion, not every day. But again, I wish that did not happen. So that's the ugly side of things that I've had to deal with. So here's the lesson in all of this. There's always a lesson. You have to know your value and your worth, not just with this particular program, but in life in general. And this is my biggest lesson with me going through these particular steps in these particular events. You have to know your value and worth even when others do not. Don't take, no for an answer. Don't take a step down. Um, because people, again, some of them just don't get it and they don't value what you're worth. So my intention has always been to help others first. That's always been my intention. That's what I'm about. The money and notoriety will come later. I didn't start YouTube to be popular. This is not a makeup or hair channel. I came here to give information because it was missing. And so I've always been able, I'm hoping that I'm able to do that with you. And I'm always putting that good intention out there. So it's important also to keep in mind, and these are reminders for myself. I have to keep a mindset filled with abundance and not scarcity. I have to keep that in mind. I remember being on a coaching call with the surplus funds group, and someone had gotten a few deals. And when someone else said, "Oh, well, where did you find those deals?" They were hesitant and they didn't want to tell them the location because they didn't want others flocking to that particular area. We have to get out of the mindset of scarcity. Abundance is all around us, and if you are locked into a zone of scarcity, it's not going to help you in life, and it's not going to help you in this particular business. The way our economy is set up right now, surplus overages are going to continue to happen, especially with bankruptcy, with foreclosures, with tax sale overages. It's just going to continue to go up. So we can't be in the mindset of scarcity at all. Even with this economic downturn, there's still abundance all around us. You just have to change your focus. So these are reminders for myself and hopefully reminders for you guys as well. And then also just for people who are new and just wanting to know. This is my experience with this particular group. This will not be your experience. You can join the group and you are working state funds and in your particular area, it's booming. It's easy for you. You've had a smooth transition in joining the program, then go for it. It could very well work for you. So as long as you have clear goals going into the particular program, know what it is that you're wanting from the program and utilize it. This program will work if you work with it. Unfortunately, from my experience, it did not because it's such a specified niche that I'm in that it just didn't fit for me. So just keep that in mind if you're interested in, and if you do join the program and you don't, get feedback or you don't get your calls back from, certain people, then make sure your voice is heard. Don't just sit down and, you just keep quiet about it. If you're paying for something, you should get what it is that you need from it. So that is all that I have to say about that. I hope that is helpful for those out there that were wondering if they should join the program or not, or just wondering why I had left the program. Now you know. I will see you in another video. Thanks for watching.